Hey everybody, it's Tristan here with YAK Performance. I just was doing a final test on my harness kit here for the 1995 Humvee H1 M998 truck. I got a valve body hooked up, I got the harness hooked up a little crudely to a battery I have, TCM wired up, ignition switch on, TPS sensor, speed sensors, third one's down here, a range sensor connected to a 6-speed generation 4 valve body. What I was doing is just making sure everything's reading properly on here, which it looks good. Trans temp 59 degrees, throttle position 0. As I increase the throttle position, it goes up 16.5%, 19.2, 22, all the way up to 70%. Okay, now also there's torque demand, which is important for these. The torque demand's going up and it's negative when you're not in the pedal, which your throttle position, which is very important because that's going to help shift stabilization and shift points, shift timing, and all that as the Allison adapts to its shift points. Then you got your range sensor, which right now it's saying it's in drive 1. We'll move this thing. Let's see here, I always get confused with these versus the old ones. There we go. Back to park, which is right there, and you hear the valve body click because it's in its park position. It selects its solenoids to engage park. Okay, now we'll go back down to reverse. Neutral, solenoids click back on. Drive 6. Drive 5, also known as manual mode for this setup. And then you got your drive 1. Now on the older units you had, overdrive was your 5-speed or 6-speed depending on what you got. Then you had your 3, 2, 1. These are a little different on the Generation 4s. You got your drive, which is overdrive, 6 gears, unless you're programmed for 5. You got your position 5, which is actually manual on this setup. Some it is 4 or 3. It just depends how it's calibrated. Then you got your 2 and 1 on all of them that are medium duty setups, and that's how that works. So right now we're in our manual mode, and if I had a tap shifter on here, you could select which gear you want. Let's go back to park. Let's see here, which one is right there. And also when in park, if you're running your neutral safety switch, which I run into my jumper harness right there, you would have that connected so the truck knows it's in park or neutral and the ignition will work. It would be going to your ignition relay or however your system's set up. Then you also have other stuff here, other data, which if I had a switch in here, you could put it in its secondary shift mode. Like right now, it's not in its secondary tow haul shift mode, which that can be added always later. It's not in its hot mode, it's not in its cold mode, it's in its normal shift pattern. Cold mode is between, I want to say, I'd have to look up specifics, but I want to say it's between negative 32 and under 100 degrees usually. Once it's out of 100 degrees or once it's above 100 degrees, it'll go to its normal shift pattern. Now in cold shift pattern, you'll notice your shifts are going to be a little stiffer. The converter might lock up a little later, and that's to try to generate heat in the Allison to get everything to its proper operating temperature. You got your trailer hauling mode. That would be with your serial data. If I were to put a BCM in the mix here with it or wire it into its overdrive lockout system, you can do that also, wiring into the TCM depending on which options or wires are programmed, which are wires, which are actually circuits in the TCM. You got your main mod solenoid active. It tells you various different things here. Let's see here. See if I have that one here too. The cruise control is disabled right now, but these can work with cruise control. You also have a brake switch that's in this jumper harness right here, and that goes to your brake switch. And what happens is when you hit your brake, it will disengage the TCC converter, and when you're in your trailer hauling mode, it'll make the shifts, the downshifts, more aggressive. And that's an option that is enabled. It's right there, engine brake pre-select option. It's enabled. Let's see here. Now, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go to the active test, basically, in this system. If I was using the scan tool, it'd be a little different. And I'm going to clear all these adapts. I always like to clear my adapts before I ship out anything to my customers. They can do it as well once they get it. I just like to make sure all the presets are set to base so that Allison can learn as it goes. Oh, let me activate these. Whoops. Okay, and we'll clear, there we go. We're clearing all our taps. We're setting all our presets. Okay. And you'll notice with the Allisons, if you have a scan tool, they go off a converged and not converged. So a converged shift means that Allison has learned where it wants to be on that specific shift versus the base set in the calibration. Clear the rest of these. There's also non-converged, which means the Allison has not yet learned its position and shift timing and presets for what it would like for the best shift possible using its input speed sensor, output speed sensor, and turbine speed sensor. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to start playing with our solenoids a little. There we go. That was one turning on. There's another one turning on. There's another one turning on. Those are all three of your shift solenoids. Then you got your pressure control. There goes another. There it is. And this is a good way to test issues if you're having any on something. And then you got your TCC solenoid. Without pressure, those don't really make any noise. You'll hear it buzz when it's got pressure in it and stuff when it does engage. And then you got your transmission where you can actually shift it manually. Just like a scan tool, bidirectional scan tool. But yeah, I just wanted to run through this one more time and make sure everything was good, and it's going out in a minute.